Good day, everybody. Hope you are all doing well. Say hello to the people we have here. Let's see, we got Dark Fury. Hello, Pilot Pat. Good to see you. MFS Pilot and Oki and Chumi. Good day to you all. Christian's here as well. And we've got Kevin has come in too. So glad you could all join us on this flight. It's not a long one. We're just heading down to Berlin. SimBrief gave me 13,000 foot cruise altitude. I'm actually only going to go up to 8,000. I'm not going to go up and down that quickly. So we'll go up to 8,000 and cruise there. So should be pretty good. Christian, can't see you. We'll see you when we taxi around, I guess, and see how it looks. Hopefully it's looking good, and we'll see Dark when we get down into the airplane as well. So we're heading down to Brandenburg in Germany. I do not have an updated airport. It'll be the default one, whatever's in the sim. So we will see what comes of that when we get there. But it looks like we're going to have a few DC-6s with us, and we've got Oki over there in the King Air going to be flying along. So let's hop on board the aircraft and we can get things going and take a look at our route while the passengers are loading. Alright, well, we're on board the aircraft. So you got the door open to the outside and everybody's out there. Not seeing... Oh, I see a DC-6 tag over there, so we'll see what it says when I get there. That could be Christian over there. So first thing we're going to do, because we can't start engines until everyone's on board, and when we start into the AFE, it closes up all the doors. So let's get the passengers on board. We've got 28 passengers today, so we can get down here and we can get a few things loaded into the aircraft. And first thing I'm going to do, since it's rather warm in Europe right now, let's get this window open up. There we go. Now we're using live weather, but the time is 1000 hours local. So it's a nice morning flight. So number of passengers is going to be 28. There we go. And our fuel load for today is 3,600 pounds. So we're gonna go to 3,000. Sorry, 3,060 pounds. And let's dial that down to 60. There we go, 3,060 pounds of fuel. Not a lot. And we'll roll in say 2,000 pounds of baggage. And for that, we'll just add a couple more 100 pounds of fuel. 3,500 pounds of fuel. So we're all fueled up and ready to go there. Passengers are loading. So we can take a look at our route for today. Now let me just bring it up. There we go. We're over here in Hamburg. We're going to be taking off to the southwest. Winds are currently out of the southwest, and then we're going to arc around. We'll pick up the radial for the VOR down here outside Wittenberg, and then we're going to make an easterly turn, head here down towards Lieberwald, and then we're going to turn south, flying across Berlin down to the Brandenburg airport, which is down in this area here. So just a couple turns today, and flight time is about an hour.
At this time, please be sure to make sure all large carry-on items are in the overhead bins and use small
Here's the airport.
in front of you. If you have any trouble,
We're currently located here at this terminal. So once we push out and get ready to go, we're just going to come up to taxiway here, carry on across runway 33, and all the way up to Alpha 1 for the runway 23 exit.
You are seated in an emergency exit row.
Yeah, Kevin, I hear that sound. Sound of the Spitfire.
Please make sure you are willing and able
Alright,
to perform
so
the actions required. If you are not able or prefer not to perform these actions, please let a flight attendant know so you can be reseated. You are free to use your portable electronic devices during the boarding process. We ask that larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate.
Not sure if my map came up. We'll take a quick look at that again, just in case. So basic route, take off to the west. We got just a couple legs, and then we're coming down here to Berlin itself. So nice little flight over northeastern Germany here, and that's about an hour of flight time. So we're waiting for everyone to get on board. We'll take a look outside, see what we got. So we got a DC-6 over there. Of course, we've got Kevin and his mackerel over there. There's Dark Fury. Right there. And his livery, not sure what it is. He's a bit far away. Oki, and somewhere out here is a Spitfire. I can hear the engine running. Alright, so we're looking pretty good. Sounds like everyone is now on board. So we can come down here and start getting ready. Alright, so the cargo hold door is closed. Get the cabin stairs closed as well. Yeah, it didn't look like the BAA to me, Dark. I'm not sure what's going on there. Just give me a minute here. Close that, and we'll get these doors closed as well. And I'm just gonna zip over here just for a quick look at. Well, Dark Fury showing up as mackerels. I did put the BEA in. I'll have to check on that.
Prepare cabin for departure.
Alright, so cabin's being prepared for departure. Doors are closed. Ground power unit is connected. We will get the AFE to run as before it start checks.
Cockpit pre-flight.
Start going through their stuff.
Completed. Voice recorder. Tested. Oil coolers and cow flaps. Auto in position. Fuel and fluids. Checked. Pressurization. Set. Manifold and duct pressure. Checked.
I see your tag, Wayne, but I don't see you. I don't know where you are. Anyway, as we get ready to depart, we'll put in our frequencies.
Doors and hatches.
So the first frequency we're going to want is 117.7. It's the first VOR. And the second VOR is 114.55.
Door warning lights. Out. Removed.
So that is good.
Seat belts and pedals. Adjusted.
And we are going to be wanting the 118-degree radial.
Set to idle.
So we're
Propellers.
going to 118
Forward and 3.
degrees. Should be
Before
about
start checks complete. Start engines.
there. And that will take us to the first waypoint. And you can see it's already picking up the VOR and kind of indicating where it is. Well, it's picking up the number 2 VOR. That's fine, we'll get them in the air. And the current altimeter, let's see how accurate this is 1009. I'll put the Metar 1009 and Metar into the chat. Let's put that in as well. That'll be about there. And we'll do Roger's side. Go. We are set on the barrel. And I think we are ready to go.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We will be ready shortly.
Understood.
All right. So we're going to push back. Can't start on the stand or else they won't push us back. So we're going to do a pushback, and the taxi line is out here. So we're going to be facing off to the north. So we'll go overhead panel. We'll switch over to plane battery now. And disconnect from the ground power and start our push.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Understood. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
And you're not pushing me back. Okay. Oh. There we go. Not sure why you didn't want to do that initially. That is Pushback Express doing those calls with the pushback and all that, the ground crew. The cabin calls with the female voice, that was Pax. So we're a little bit out of whack here with the pushback.
The cabin crew. Oxygen masks will drop down from above your seat.
Cockpit to
Place
ground.
the mask
Go
over
ahead,
your
flight
mouth and
deck.
nose.
We will be ready
like
shortly.
this.
Understood.
Pull the strap to tighten it. In the
All right.
unlikely event of an emergency landing and evacuation,
We're just going to
leave
there
your gear behind. In
because
the event
it's
of a water
acting
landing,
up on me.
life vests are located below your seats, and emergency lighting will lead you to your
And we're
closest
just going to go
exit and slide.
into engine
We ask
start.
that you make sure that all carry-on luggage is stowed away safely during the flight. Smoking is only permitted when the no smoking sign is out. While we wait for takeoff, please take a moment to review
Mags
the
are on
safety
both,
data card in the
selectors
seat
1,
pocket in front of you.
engine select 1, and we are good to go.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à bord de cet avion douglas DC-6 de l'aviation royale canadienne. Au nom de l'équipage, je vous demande de porter votre attention sur les agents de bord pendant que nous examinons les procédures d'urgence. Il y a 9 sorties de secours sur cet avion, 5 à gauche et 4 à droite. Prenez une minute pour localiser la
Alright,
sortie la plus
engine
proche de
started,
chez vous.
manifold pressure on engine
Notez que
number
la
3,
sortie la plus
RPMs
proche
on
peut
engine
être
number
derrière
3,
vous.
oil pressure,
Comptez le
fuel
nombre de
pressure.
lignes jusqu'à cette sortie. Si la cabine subit une perte de pression soudaine, restez calme et écoutez les instructions du personnel de cabine. Les
Waiting
masques
for
à
the
oxygène
switches to
tomberont
click
du dessus
down,
de
there we
votre
go.
siège. Placez le masque sur votre bouche
Number
et votre
4
nez,
to
comme
auto
ceci.
rich,
Tirez sur la sangle pour la serrer.
mags to both,
Dans le cas peu
engine
probable
selected
d'un
number
atterrissage
4,
d'urgence et d'une
switch
évacuation,
down
laissez vos bagages à main derrière
on
vous.
the main boost
En
pumps
cas
low.
d'amérissage, des gilets de sauvetage sont situés sous vos sièges et un éclairage de secours vous mènera à votre sortie,
Spinning
toboggan
number 4.
les plus proches. Nous vous demandons de vous assurer que tous les bagages à main sont rangés en toute sécurité pendant le volume. Fumer n'est autorisé que lorsque le panneau d'interdiction de fumer est éteint. Pendant que nous attendons le décollage, Veuillez prendre un moment pour examiner la carte de données de sécurité dans la poche du siège
Yeah,
devant.
Christian, I agree. It'll be
Thank
runway
you and
33.
enjoy your flight.
Right, so engine 4. Engine 4 is going. Engine coming down. We got fuel pressure. We got oil pressure. Temperatures are good. Engine number 2. Spinning engine 2.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Engine 2, RPM, manifold pressure, fuel pressure. Oh. Did not catch. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. You need fuel. Alright, let's try this again.
Three, 6, 9,
12.
12.
Prime and boost. There we go.
Cabin is ready for takeoff.
Fuel pressure, oil pressure. Cabin is secured. We got RPMs, and we have manifold pressure. So if we come over here, we can actually look out. There's Dark Fury waiting. So we'll bring up the... Not the one I want. The mixture. We'll look out for this one. So engine selector over to both. Ah, there you go, Wayne. You got tagged by Nightbot. It's been a while. And engine selector over to 1. And we will spin number 1.
3, 6,
See the same blade passing through again.
9, 12.
And there we go. So it looks like we got all 4 engines running. We got fuel pressure, oil pressure on both. Oil pressure is dropping as the engines warm up. Fuel thins out slightly, or the oil thins out slightly. Everything is looking good. And we have 4 good engines.
Start selected boost pumps. Off and off. Battery switch. Flame metric. Generators and inverters. Checked and on. Emergency lights. Armed. Ground power. Removed. Off to start checks complete.
All right, so we're going to taxi. We're going to taxi out and then down and then over to Gulf, where we will hold for the runway. We're switching to 3-3 as the winds have come around, so that is all good. We will go brakes off. Give her a little bit of power. And we'll get us going around here. have an issue. In that I seem to have lost my rudders. Let me check something quickly. Okay, it's showing. Let me see if this has any effect. Shouldn't. I should still have rudder around. Interesting. I wonder if that's a change they've made because it used to work before. Let's see if I can get around now. I think I've still got an invisible tug hooked up to me here. It's screwed up. This is interesting. It has locked my nose wheel. I can't taxi. All right, so you guys give me a second. This has screwed everything up. It's not the connection, Wayne, because if you look, my rudder works. But I had problems with Pushback Express, and I think it is still connected as a tug, even though it's not there. It's reading it there, and it's not giving me any control over the nose wheel. So, there's only one way to fix this. I don't have the toolbar express tug. And it wants me to shut down the engines to use Pushback Express again. So, just give me a minute. Well, you're not going to do anything either. Okay, hang on. I'll be right back. I'm just going to have to go out and come back in, and we'll just get her started up and going nice and quickly. This is rather frustrating. Alright, let's go back in. We were sitting here. It's fine. It's now about there. Yeah, I tried Shift P, it wasn't doing it. And I don't think the ATC tug would work because I was off the stand. Oh, it's not going to be that bad, Dark. We'll do this quickly. I think I am going to get the toolbar one. Let's make a note of that. Toolbar pushback. Okay. So you guys should still all be sitting out here waiting on me. Yep, there you all are. Okay, let's get this thing up and going. First of all, we'll go over to the fuel. Put 3,500. 28 passengers, and there was about 1,000 pounds of stuff in the back.
Cockpit pre-flight.
I should have enough room to wheel around in here.
Completed. Voice recorder. Tasted. Oil coolers and cow flaps. Auto in position. Fuel and fluids.
We're almost there.
Checked. Pressurization. Set.
Radios
Manifold duct pressure. Checked.
117
Radios.
and 1145.
Checked. Doors and hatches.
And 118.
Closed. Door warning lights. Out. Gear pins. Removed. 3 on board. Seat belts and pedals. Adjusted. Throttles. Set to idle. Propellers. Forward and 3.
Oh, come on. There we go.
4 start checks complete. Start engines.
Now. Start engines. We're set on 3, on 3, and on 3.
3, 6, 9, 12.
It's engine 3. Get engine 4 ready to go. Engine 4.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Alright, that's 2 engines. Mags on both, boost on low, selector to 2. Starting engine 2.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Engine 2, good start. And engine 1. And Wayne gets tagged by Nightbot again. Set this to 8,000. Not that we're going to need pressurization at that altitude. All right, we are good. 4 engines up and running.
Start selected bus pumps. Off and off. Battery switch. Climb entry. Generators and inverters. Checked and on. Emergency lights. Armed. Brown power. Removed. After start checks complete.
Alright, after start checks are complete. Now, we go outside. I don't think it's supposed to be taxiing there, Wayne. There we go. Get that window open again. Wow, that was interesting. And by interesting, I mean rather annoying. Alright, so we're going for runway 33. You guys should be ready to go immediately. Well, at least I see you now. I didn't know where you were earlier. Single engine taxi method? Yeah. So if you didn't know, we have a Discord server up and running. I know Nightbot's throwing the link up. You can also do the command Discord function to get the URL for it. You're more than welcome to join. We've got some interesting areas, some help, some aviation and sim news, all the good stuff. We're going to make the right turn. Yeah, Roger Christian, that's where we're headed, down to Gulf there. I thought the weather was supposed to be a little bit more rainy than this. But that's fine. at that crowd. All these mighty mackerels following me. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, you're right, even Christian's in that livery. And Spitfires, yes. And a King Air. Oh, is that right? Oh, wow. There's some weird model matching going on there. Well, we're not going to need all 12,000 feet of runway, so that's not going to be an issue. Alright, here we are. Runway ahead. So I'm going to roll out, take position, do our before takeoff.
First pumps on low. Fuel selector and crossfeed. Main tanks and crossfeed off. Autopilot and carbeat. Off and cold. Hydraulic system. Down, forward, pressure and quantity checked. Okay. Flaps 20.
Dr. Magic, hello. Welcome to the
Flaps
stream.
set 20. Windows and turbine. Closed and on. Controls. Gust lock released. Free. Detonator. On. Mixture and cowl flaps.
Just getting ourselves ready to go.
Transponder. On. Landing lights.
Not sure where, oh, Dark Fury's gone around. Alright, are we ready to go? This is going to be a dry takeoff. Look, our gross weight's really light. And it's a short flight. Really is in a 6, hey. Interesting.
30 inches stabilize.
Here we go.
30 inches stabilize. Stabilized. Cowl flaps. Cowl flaps. Cowl flaps set. Full power, please.
Full
Going
power. Full power set.
Full power set.
Brakes are released. Airspeed's alive. 100 knots will rotate. about 120 on that initial climb out. It's 100 knots. Oh yeah, very light. Pitch for 120.
Gear up. Gear selected up. Gear up, lights out.
Gears up. Ease forward slightly. Get the speed up to about 130. Start bringing in the flaps at that point.
Flaps up. Flaps going up.
It's 1,500 feet. We're going to commence a right turn.
Meter power. Setting meter power 48 inches, 2600 RPM.
Keep the climb going. Again, we're going to 8,000 feet. Nice 10-degree bank.
Meter power set. Climb power. Setting climb power.
And we're going to try to get her to climb at 165. Just the power adjusting.
Climb power set. After takeoff checklist, please. After takeoff checks complete.
Her speed's now dropping, so we're going to trim her down. We went ahead. See, we're pointing to the first VOR there. We're going to go to about a 160 to go and intercept the radio. And then once we level out, we will engage the gyro pilot. Alrighty, so level off. And gyro pilot on, clutch engaged. We're going to keep this course and we're going to pitch for 165 as we head towards the intercept on that VOR. As soon as we get within one notch out, we will engage the localizer. We'll be able to follow the localizer. Everybody else is up and going. Very good. So 165 is good. 6,000 feet, 2,000 to go. So our cruise altitude. No, my gear's up, as you can see. It may be showing it down, but it's up. Going to go to localizer mode and we'll start tracking the localizer. 6,500 feet. Slowly turning for the, or we're soon going to be turning for the intercept. We've got a very slight bank going right now. 7,200. there's no movement in the cabin pressurization because we're only going up to 8,000 feet. There's 75. So we're going to start to ease our climb. It's 300 feet to go. 200 feet to go. 100 feet to go. Keep rolling her forward. We want to get her down to about 200 feet per minute. And there's 8,000. Once the speed comes up to 190, there we go. We will go into cruise mode.
Set cruise power, please. Setting cruise power.
See, we're making the turn for the radial as we head off to the next VOR. Cruise power being set. There's Oki off in the distance.
Cruise power is set. Cruise checks are complete.
Alright, cruise checks are complete. So 11455 will be the next VOR we're going to want. It's picking up another frequency behind us on the same thing. It's the view I want. We're now heading 120 degrees. At about 205 knots. And we are 53 miles away from the next VOR. Alright, so we got the other DC-3s out here. We got Wayne flying escort and Oki off in the distance there. Good, nice chance to get out and see a golf course down there. So I did find that my Bing data and photogrammetry on some update at some point had been turned off, so it was giving me some pretty crappy, more golf courses, pretty crappy outdoor view, and I just never noticed. So it's turned on now, and things are looking very nice out the windows, as you can see. And we're kind of following this river all the way down. This is the Elbe River. And we're kind of over the central German farm country. Looks very cool. Everything is set. We're up to 215 knot cruise. Fuel is good. We're not carrying an excessive amount of fuel. Just enough to get down to Berlin. So as I mentioned before, I'm planning a round-the-world trip for the DC-6, so that's gonna have to be probably on Sundays, because some of the legs are fairly long. So it'll probably follow on after the Ford's Flight series. We'll switch over and do the DC-6s on the Sunday, the daytime streams. We got some pretty good distance there. I mean, Dark Fury is 2.5 kilometers away. You're 2.5 kilometers away. You and Mackerel seem to be together. And of course, I got Wayne giving me a personal escort here, which is pretty nice of him. So far, descent, we got to get down to 3,000 feet. That's going to be 5,000 feet we got to lose. That means we're going to want to be descending 5,000 at 5 miles per 1,000 feet. So that'll be 5 times 5, that's 25. And then add about 25 miles for slow down. So 50 miles out, we're going to want to begin our descent, which is going to be probably 14 miles out of the LWB VOR, the Lowenberg VOR. So 15 miles from Lowenberg, we're going to start our descent down to 3,000 feet. And then that'll also give us time to slow down, which is crucial as well. Oh, I just see Wayne out there. He's just falling behind. There he is. Poking his nose up around the window there. So if you like the Spitfire, we're doing kind of ad hoc Spitfire flights, but I am also planning to do a tour of Britain in the Spitfire, so that one's in the planning stages now as well. So if you want to join us, come to the Discord. Lots of information being put up on there about what's going on in these flights and what's going on in upcoming flights as well. Also a list of all the mods that I put up so that you'll be able to see what it is I'm using, and especially for like airports and stuff as we go. Ah, beautiful airplane. Alright, 30 miles to go to the next waypoint. So about 5 miles out, we're going to go into gyropilot mode from localizer. And then we will set up the next one, and then when we get close, we'll re-engage the localizer. I'm planning on 2-5 right, Christian. No point in crossing over the extended center line of the runway. Well, you don't need to, Pilot Pat, but it is a nice airplane to fly, and I am really enjoying it. Dark, you going off on your own thing there? So it's hard to explain without being able to draw everything, but if you treat it as a compass, like here, and you look at the center of this is the radial, then you got 360 degrees coming off it, right? So we are flying to the radial, which is right here, which would put us up around here. So we're flying down here to it. So I've tuned this in. Oh, you need it, Pilot Pat? Yeah. So I've tuned this in to follow the 118 radial. Now the 118 radial actually starts here and heads out this way. right? So we are actually on the 032 radial, which would start here and head this way. But we've dialed in the 118, and you can see that on here where it says nav, it's got the arrow pointing towards the VOR. So we are actually flying to that radial as it's showing. So if you want it to fly to the VOR from where you are, you would have to turn the dial until it crosses the radial that you're on, and then it'll say that yes, you're on that radial. So it's not flying you to the VOR, it is flying you along that radial beam that comes off of the VOR. It's kind of a weird concept to get your head around. And it does not know which orientation the receiver is in, so we're telling it, yes, we are flying to the VOR, we're flying to that radial, and that's the one we want to be using. So that's kind of how the VOR works. So you have to think of it as you're telling it to fly along the spoke that's coming off of the VOR. And again, you can just turn this dial until the bar centers, and that tells you what radial that you're on for that VOR, and then it'll follow. Eastbirds! Ah, good to see you. Yeah, Pilot Pet, I had to do it for real when I did my license, and it took a little bit to get used to, and unfortunately the VORs today work slightly different than the one in here does, but yeah, it was trying to realize you're not telling the plane to fly to the VOR, you're telling the plane to fly along that beam, and in which direction to fly it, because I'll show you. If I turn this around and now put that 118 on the bottom, alright, you can see it's now putting us into a turn. And it's now taking us around to fly that same VOR, if you draw the extended line, but away from the VOR. And you can see that's now pointing, saying that we're going to be flying away from it since it's pointing behind us. So it's a little... it doesn't work this way in modern ones. Modern ones, you would actually have the 032 or whatever. You would have it on the bottom, but as you flew away. But this works a little bit differently. But you can see what it's done. It's turned us around, so we're now going the other way. But we don't want that. We do want it to head to the 118, so we're going to dial that back in, and now we're telling it, no, we want you to fly to the VOR. The arrow's pointing upwards, so now it's going to circle around and fly to it on that radial. So it's a little bit confusing. Actually, it's going to loop around the entire way, but it's a little confusing. Glad to see you made it, Eastbirds. What are you flying today? And now we're just confusing everybody as we do a big circle in the air. We are only 15 miles out, so this is going to now circle around to pick up the VOR. No, you can't creep up on us, Eastbirds. You can see it's now coming in on the radial. So it's going to go, if you draw that line straight through the VOR. So let's think of it this way. The VOR is in the center. you have the 118 VOR running that way, and the 302 VOR running this way. So picture this as a line along it, and we are down here right now. So we want to be flying along that line, heading to the VOR with the arrow pointing up. So if you think about it that way, it'll make a little bit more sense. So always think of the center as being where the VOR is, and that line going out either side is a line through it, and then you're heading either to the VOR or away from the VOR, I think is the best way to kind of explain that. Oh, you're a Spitfire there, Eastwards? Oh, there you are, Dark. See, you're coming in. I see you there. So this number here, is that your altitude or is that your distance? It must be your altitude because you're not 3 kilometers, 3,000 meters away from me. That must be your altitude. Oh, it looks like you're climbing like crazy there. Yeah, that's your altitude. Alright, so we're 10 miles away. Oh, your manual control? Nice. As I like to say, this is a 3-man crew. Put your seats down, guys. 3-man crew, so I'll let them do some of the work. That's what they're here for. Plus, it gives me the chance to explain things. Alright, well, we're not picking up the next VOR yet, and it is almost 60 miles between VORs. So what I'm going to do is, I know it's roughly in a 90-degree heading, roughly. So I'm going to go into manual mode and fly 90 degrees. Until we come up to it. So we'll come down here. We're going to go into the gyro pilot mode. I am going to switch over to the next VOR. Oh, it is picking it up now. Interesting. So we're going to be heading off at 95 degrees on that VOR. And we're going to be wanting to be heading to about there. We're going to want to head to the VOR, which is why the arrow is pointing up. And then we're going to dial the next one in, which is 114. 114.1. Come back over, and we're almost there. Again, now you can see it's almost pointing off at 95 degrees. So we'll go to localizer mode, and we'll let the aircraft take us over. So that is the LWB VOR. As I mentioned before, the Lowenberg VOR, and when we're 15 miles away, we're going to begin our descent. Yeah, I'm sure it'll have a big loop on Volanta. Looks like Oki's going to get there first. He can get the beer ready for us all. Nice, everyone's still coming in. Weather's looking good. Alright, so we're going to be flying away from the Elbe River, heading out over a lot of countryside here. There we are. We're picking up the radial now. And again, 3,000 feet will be our 4,000 feet, sorry, will be our intercept altitude. Airport elevation is 156 feet. So we'll be doing the ILS approach. .354 feet will be decision height. So we're going on 4,000 feet, so we can drop 10 miles on that. So 5 miles out from low, we're going to head down to 4,000 feet. Make that final adjustment onto the actual radial. Looks like there's a bit of shenanigans going on back there. Looks like the Spitfire is doing some training runs on the DC-6s. Just a warning, Eastbirds, I've got my own Spitfire as a bodyguard. You see, we're just getting ourselves nicely lined up. And our speed's up to about 216 knots. So we got a little bit of wind out of the west. Ground speed showing 246. Some low cloud and some nice countryside. It's wood in a bean can, yeah. So that was pretty impressive. A little bit of a wind farm down here. Correction on that, it'll be 10 miles out for the descent. It's 5,000 feet, or 5 miles per 1,000 feet, not 10. Now the frequency for the ILS is 1099. Runway 25 right. So we're gonna fly 145. Or 145 degree away from LWB when we get there, and that'll put us far enough out that we'll be able to come in and intercept for the ILS fairly reasonably. So we're actually gonna stick on the 145.5. And I'm going to dial the 109.9 in. 1099. So that is our Well, now I know why that wasn't coming up. I'm actually going to put it in here as well. I didn't have it on VOR 2, I just had it in standby. So now when we start getting close, we should pick up the direction to the VOR on the second needle. Yeah, beautiful forest. So we're going to be flying over Berlin. So we should get some nice views into the city, hopefully. "28 miles to go, so we're about 18 miles from our top of descent. Again, we're going down to 4,000 feet. So Yoke's heading towards us. Dark's going down to look at some trees. So I usually run the descent checklist when I pass through 10,000 feet. Because we're flying at 8,000, we'll do the descent checklist before we start down. So we'll do the descent check that's 15 miles out, and then at 10 miles out we'll head down. 1,000 foot per minute descent to 4,000. We're only losing 4,000 feet, so it's not going to be too bad. It's quite comfortable chairs, nice and thick and heavily padded. And we've had no precipitation, so no need for the de-icing, which is all located up here. Everything is looking really good. It's nice having my personal escort there. I think Wayne's been doing some studying on formation flying, so putting that to practice. Alright, we got 4 miles to go and we can start our descent preps. Esports, when you get a chance, send me a link to that 4 Seasons mod. I was looking around and I couldn't find it anywhere, so if you know the link, let me know. Alright, 1 mile to go, local time. It's now 11:13. There we go. 15 miles. Descent checklist.
$26 please.
ILS frequency goes in the nav 1, same as you do. But to get it to come up, you use the approach mode instead of the localizer.
26 inches set. Same checklist, please.
And that will give you your glide slope as well as your localizer.
Altimeters and flight instruments cross-checked. Seatbelt signs on. On. Engine blowers low. Low.
Speed's starting to come down. Got a mile to go. .200 knots. Alright, we're roughly 10 miles, so we're going to start downwards now. Actually, we're going to release the altitude hold, and we'll start down. And we're going to want 1,000 feet per minute. And we're going down to 4,000 feet. And again, we got a monitor on the way down because it will, as the speed increases, she'll start to adjust for the speed increase, and we're going to have to adjust the angle. See, the speed is slowly starting to climb again, and we're going to get an adjustment on the rate of descent. So yeah, we just come over and give it a notch downwards. Keep pushing that nose down. Maintain that 1,000 feet per minute descent. She doesn't redline until it's about 260. So usually when I'm coming down from altitude doing this, I'm usually around 240, 250, which is fine. She can handle it. 7,000 feet. We're watching the indicator here. We're 4 miles out. So when we cross over, we're going to quickly dial 145, and that should take us on that 145 radio. And we're going to put 145 at the bottom, which should lead us away from it. I think we'll see what happens. We'll get there eventually. Still trying to get into my head how this VOR system here works. It's 1.7, 1.6. We're going to get the flip in a second as we fly over the VOR.
We have begun our final descent into Berlin. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to select any crash one final time.
It's 1 mile.
The tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position.
There's
Please
the
also
flip.
store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat when it's
So 145. We're flying from, so we're going to go gyro pilot and then localizer. Reset it. And that should turn us onto that radio. 5,500. Get a little steep there in the descent, so we're going to roll it back slightly. And you can see how it's taking us all the way around, so I'm going to put the 145 at the bottom. No. Yeah, see, it takes, but you do want that arrow pointing away, though. So I do have that right. There we go. The arrow's pointing behind us because that's where we want the VOR. It's confusing at times. Anyway, there's 4,000 feet. We just blew through it because I wasn't paying attention. So we're going to climb back up. Use a little of that airspeed. And then we'll engage the altitude hold. Sure the passengers aren't impressed by all this. There we go. 4,000 feet. Altitude hold engaged. We're now flying towards the radial. We should commence a right turn shortly to get back online with it. Yeah, you can see we're starting that right turn, so that's going to work out fine. It's coming in, we're starting to turn. Alright. So we can do our in-range checks.
Cooling turbine. Normal. Fuel booster pumps. On low. Fuel tank selectors. Mains on, crossfeed off. Hydraulic bypass valve. Down. No smoking signs. On.
And I'm just looking at the chart.
Range checks complete.
I want 120 degrees according to the chart. So that'll take us out to where we should be. Alright. Or, no, actually not 120 degrees. I'm looking at the wrong thing. We'll just take it out on that one there. Just trying to give myself a little bit of space here. Should be good. And we're heading towards that radial, and then we'll make the left turn to straighten ourselves out. Speed's coming down around 180. Sure, I'm confusing you guys with what I'm doing, but it's all good. We'll get there. See, we're picking up the airport. It's now 20 miles away, and this needle is pointing towards the ILS. Should make a right turn in a second to line us up onto the proper track, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into gyro pilot mode. I want to be a little bit more to the the east here. Put it into a little bit more of a turn. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place here, trying to explain things and then doing loops and turns. So we're going to go to about 110 degrees. Now I'm going to switch over to the ILS. You can see now the glide slope is activated and the localizer is activated. And just for fun, we will go to 1141, which is the Brandenburg VOR, which is the one on the field. It's on the west end of the field, just to give us a little bit of a separate needle here when we come in. Did I get that right? Yeah, 1141. Yeah, that weather bug is getting annoying. Hope to get that fixed soon. Alright, speed is still up at about 181. So, I'm gonna go to flaps 10. I know it's slightly fast for flaps, but I find just doing flaps 10 will get the speed down under 175. And still leave the FE in control of everything. There we go, we're coming down to 175. There's Wayne. A little closer, Wayne. Flaps 15. So we were weighing just over 70,000. So if we go up to our panel and we look, we're going to want to be approaching about 125 and landing at about 95. If we look at our current weight, yeah, so we want to land at just around 100 and approach at about 125. We're down to 160 and we can go flaps 20. Berlin's over this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn into about a 30 degrees out from the localizer heading, which is 245. So we're going to turn to a heading of about 215. And once we get to there, we'll turn on localizer or approach mode, and then when the glide slope starts to come down, before it would intercept and start our descent, that is the point we will turn off the altitude hold. We'll leave it on until then, just so that we don't wander around in our altitude. So we can turn on approach mode with the altitude hold on, but we just have to remember to take it off before the glide slope kicks in, or else we ain't gonna go anywhere, at least altitude wise. See the airport, it's over that way, that's where everyone is. You can see their needles are pointing. It's actually slightly behind us here. And it's good. OBS is still running, it hasn't decided to quit on me. Alright, so we're going to now turn southwards. Speed's coming down, 145. 20-degree bank. Go in at about this angle here. Speed's down to 140. Actually, probably going to be a little bit close. Turn it a little bit more out. So 180. Get ready for landing.
Flaps 20. Setting flaps 20. 20 flaps set. Mixtures rich, wait. Auto rich. Mixtures set.
As soon as I see that start to move,
Gear up and down.
go to approach mode. Should be going down. Yes, it is. And nose wheel's already down. There go the mains. Glide slope is coming in.
Props. 2400 RPM.
Alright.
2400 RPM set.
Approach mode is set.
Plus 3 degrees. Cal flaps set. ADI. ADI off. ADI is off. Lights. Speed good, extending lights.
Lights are coming in.
Lights extended and on. Carbine. Carbine cold, set cold.
Leveling off.
Before landing checks complete.
And glide slope. Should intercept in a minute. There's the airport ahead of us. Around about 125, which is where we want to be for the approach. And I have control of the throttles now. Localizer. Should be intercepting the glide slope in a second. There we go. Glide slope has been intercepted. Pulling the power back to 90 BMEP. Looking good. Beautiful approach. These birds are right beside. is Z-Spurs and a Spitfire. Very nice. So we're on the ILS. And we are 9.5 miles out. Speed's increasing, so we're going to bring the BMEP back down to about 70. We're going to go flaps 30. Flaps 40. Current barometer here is 1011. Make sure we got that set. 1011. Precision arc was about 350 feet. Seven miles out. Speed's getting a little slow. Come back up to about 90 on the engines. Push them up to 100. That's better. Really got to watch these speeds. Can't let your attention drift. There we go, 110. Well, slower than we want to be, but we're not bad. And airport elevation here is 156 feet. Outer marker. Configured. So about 600 feet, we'll go flaps 50. And we want to be about 100 or so when we finally cross the threshold. And it's just a slight back pressure. Landing. Here's Eastbird's mighty mackerel behind. Beautiful view over the city as we come into the airport. And again, things don't happen very fast in this airplane. You got to keep on it. About 112. 800 feet. Oh, sorry, Dark. I just saw that. How to activate ILS? Yeah, it's on the dial. You've got your gyro pilot, your localizer, and then your approach mode. But it looks like you made it down okay. There we go. 600 feet. Flaps full. Engines to 90. Speed's coming back. Engines to 70. Speed's coming back. It's autopilot disconnect. Speed's down to 105, 100. It's 50 feet, 20 feet. Throttle's back. Slight flare. Wheels are down, reversers engaged. We're gonna go for L4. 50 knots, 40 knots. And we're down. So we're gonna roll forward to L4.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Berlin. The local time is 11:39 a.m. and it's currently about 30 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins, as items may have been shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us. If you're making a connection,
I'm heading down
make sure
to
you check your
Apron
itinerary
Delta,
to ensure a smooth
where the other guys are
continuation of
parked
your
out there.
journey. We apologize for the delay. Please coordinate with airline staff as necessary regarding connecting flights or
Yeah, we're about 20 minutes late. That's my horsing around. You flew it manually? Okay. If you've got time after this, Dark, I can go through how it all works with you. Explain it a bit more. Just let me know if you want to do that. Thanks, Pilot Pat. Appreciate it. Alright. Fred, do the after landing, please. Oh, you guys are out on Apron E?
After landing checks complete.
Alright. Ooh, it's warm, 30 degrees. Let's crack the window. We'll head over to Apron E where you guys are. Okay, Dark, I'll send you a message on Discord as soon as we're done here. Let's jump back in. Ourselves over and parked. That was a good fight. Weather was good. Thought it was going to be worse than it was. Not too many clouds, and OBS didn't go on strike on me. Yeah, the big thing I'm learning about this airplane is when you're on the approach and you're adding in flaps and stuff, you cannot take your eyes off your speed and your power settings. You really, really got to be on top of them. Alright. And I would like to figure out why we're all appearing in Mackerel's livery. Well, you guys are. Apparently, to Kevin, it was a Royal Canadian Air Force flight. Pilot Pat, you're very welcome. Always happy to have everyone along. Just go on the other side of Dark here. Love that brake sound. At least I know where we're starting next time. Alright. So, parking brake is set. Shut him down, Fred.
Parking brake is set. Good entrance.
There's these birds coming in. And there's the last engine shut down. Gotta wait for him to finish. Well, there's the logbook.
Checks complete. A-plane secured.
Thank you. Ground power unit connected. Wheel chocks are in. We'll get the cabin door. The stairs going. There we go. Here comes Mighty Mackerel in to round out the show. So I got Eastbirds and Wayne showing in their proper Spitfires. Yeah, Wayne, or sorry, Pilot Pat. It is the General Aviation Tour of Britain on Wednesday. So we're continuing that. So it is a group multi-flight, group multiplayer flight on Wednesday. And as Mackerel comes in, we'll wind out the stream. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. Remember, we got the new Discord up if you want to join it. I will very quickly just pop the link here in the chat. Everyone's more than welcome to join. And again, thanks for flying. This is leg 2 of our tour of Germany. There's many to come as we crisscross around and check it all out. And if you've got the DC-6, you're welcome on this trip as well. If not, you can find something that cruises around 200 knots. You can join in. DC-6 is not 100% needed, but it's very much adds to the flight. So once again, thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.